Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear friends, this is Farooq Mirza, your host for today's program, Washington Global Forum, Fourth Pillar TV USA. The program has been designed for the overseas Pakistani diaspora living in North America, Canada, Middle East, Eastern countries, and Europe. Uh, I'm very thankful to Mr. Mehdi Kazmi. He is a doctor by profession. And thank you very much, Dr. Saab,
You're
for coming
welcome, Salaam Alaikum.
to the show. Dr. Saab, he is doing a very great work here in USA. There is a capital economy. People that talk about money, dollar, property, and they talk all the time profit and loss. But the kind of a profession he has, a psychologist, neurologist, and working in one of the prestigious institution in Bronx. But what he is doing, I I want doctor to narrate each and everything in detail. Doctor Saab, I will start uh, asking you a question.
Yeah.
As I said, it's a capital economy uh, in US life, Pakistani, American diaspora, and other communities. Their life is in a very big frustration and they are losing peace of mind. A lot of family immigration issue. So the most of the people they are not in peace of mind. So what you are talking about, uh, divine path, is a very powerful word. How you define what is this you are trying to say and how you can advise or spread your message. You are also talking about Sufism
That's correct.
and how you will link Sufism and your profession and the peace of mind and all these divine path. How it is possible? What is it? What is in your mind, sir?
So let me just give a little introduction to who I am and what we're doing here in New York. I am a physician, neurologist, and psychiatrist by profession. But my real occupation are the Sufi silsilas of the Indian subcontinent, which is part of our heritage, and that is our identity, and that is where we belong. Um, I'm really completely fascinated and taken up by the genre of Qawwali, which I think embodies all the culture and the value system that identifies us as Muslims of the Indian subcontinent. And by subcontinent, I mean Pakistan and India, of course, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. We're, South Asian people of Indo-Persian heritage culturally. And so I've been having qawwalis at home here in New York and at New York University for several years. And I belong to the Chishti Silsila. I'm sure you're aware of the Chishti Silsila, jiske bani Khwaja Garib Nawaz Sarkar Ajmeri.
From Ajmer Sharif.
Correct. So the great Sufi master who belongs to the Sufi to the Chishti Silsila is Baba Fariduddin Ganje Shakar, who, in my opinion, was the real founder of Pakistan. That is another story that I will relate to you. But the whole idea behind the work we're doing here, as you said, is to essentially put ourselves on the divine path, which I think, after all is said and done, remains the only unifying factor for humanity. It dissolves, it makes all colors, class, creed, everything that divides people or everything that classifies people as different. It dissolves all that and brings people onto one unified human platform and struggling towards what is good for all of us. I think we've lost that over several years, centuries. And to me, the true miracle of our faith, Islam, is the unity that it creates between different kinds of people. So our effort here is to bring that richness of culture and heritage forward, and somehow explore that path to the divine, which can be a generator of unity, oneness, and love, and simple kindness between all of us.
Dr. Saab, it's a very important thing you are talking about. A Muslim faith, we believe in one God and we believe the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He is the last prophet. And we have a faith. And then when we practice Islam and when we talk Allah's name and we feel a kind of a peace in mind and heart, and other people, you are talking, you are trying to build a unified platform, and they are non-believer, and they are equally disturbed in the same frame of mind. They don't know where to go. So if they don't believe in one God and they don't believe that the Islamic way of life, so how you will convince them and how this divine route and path will affect on them in their life?
Correct. So that's a very good question. So, I don't think it's a matter of convincing anybody. I think, I mean, I will speak from the Chishti Sufi silsila point of view, where there is no difference between people of different faiths. There's no us and them. The whole idea is that there are different strands to humanity, there are different strands to belief systems, but they all come together with the same objective, that they have to seek the divine. So I don't think it's a matter of believers or non-believers, nor is it a matter of convincing people. I think if you reveal, like like so many of our silsilas, particularly the Chishti silsila, the Qadriya, have revealed in the subcontinent, that there is no that everybody is welcome into these silsilas, and the silsila is a tariqa, it's a path in itself towards this rich heritage that we have, putting that together, and going towards the manzil, which is unity and the oneness of God. And I'll just give you a little bit of so just imagine 10th 11th century India, right, which was very strong civilization, 5,000-year-old civilization of Hinduism. And then comes this person, which I think is the true miracle of Islam, right? So Khwaja Gharib Nawaz lands up there from the borderlands of Iran and Afghanistan, and he doesn't even speak the language. And he stands up on this little hill in the middle of the desert, of the
Yes.
Rajasthan desert, and then says, "Listen, I have a message, I have a story to tell." And he tells the story, which to me is akin to going to the moon in those days, right? As it is, it's an unbelievable feat of humanity that man went to the moon. So you can consider it the same kind of a feat in those days. So he
Yes.
stands there, he doesn't speak the local language, and he says, "Look, I have a message for you. I have a story, which is as follows. There was a man several hundred years ago who lived 4,000 miles away out in the desert, and he said that there is this message I'm giving you, which will be good for everybody." And the message was actually very simple. So all he said was, and this gave rise to a unified civilization in the Indian subcontinent. where there was no difference between people who were indigenous to India, people who had come from outside. So it became a beautiful syncretism of different thoughts and values and cultures, and gave rise to what I call subcontinental Islam. The message was as follows. So he says, look, our prophet says that there is one God. Hence, if there is just one God, that means its manifestation of that deity or that entity is the oneness of humanity, correct? Because they all belong to God.
Yeah.
The other thing he said is that there is our job as human beings is the love of God. How do you express this love of God? You express that by loving God's creation, which is human beings, all
But
equally,
you
right?
are, we are talking about these Sufis of subcontinent. Like you are very impressed, or you are a part of this Ajmer Sharif school of thought. And you
Correct.
talk
The
about
Chishti
the
Silsila, correct.
Golna Sharif, Seven Sharif, Data Darbar. All these Sufis, when they came to that region, so they came with a certain message that
Correct.
Hazur Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, spread this message. In his last uh, his sermon, he said, spread wherever you can go. So they travel across the globe. And when they came with this message, thousands of people they came into Islam, and they not with the sword, but with the morals of, and the
Exactly.
and with the
No,
set standards, and
exactly.
what they presented the way of life, that was so impressive. Now you are in USA and you are trying to communicate the same level of uh, a character or principle, and they're teaching the way of life. What is the level of interest of other communities, non-believers? Are they interested to enter into in the same school of thought,
They
or
are very much
they are
interested.
they are at the verge of understanding Islam?
Okay, I don't think it is. To me, the message of Islam is universal. It is not limited to Muslims only, and nor do I would even venture to say that our Islam, as you said, in the Indian subcontinent, I think is the only part of the world where Islam spread not because of the sword, but because of the oneness of God and humanity, the
Humanity.
love of God and humanity. And the third message that Khwaja Gharib Nawaz gave, which is very important and people fail to recognize this, he said justice. That unless there is justice, God has created this sense in us of justice, right? ये जो इंसाफ की हिस्स, which we called in Urdu,
जी.
ये हिस्स इसलिए हमने उसने पैदा किए ताकि हम सारे इंसानों में, so that there is justice between human beings. So you can unless there is justice on earth, and by that I mean that there is equality of human beings. By that I mean that everybody gets their right share, right? That you're cognizant of other people's share and you're cognizant of other people's needs and wants. Without that, there is no Islam and there is no faith. So if you give that message, that is a universal message, and that does not require you to be a Muslim. That requires you to be a just and cognizant human being. And I think that message, any simple average human being will hear
It's,
it and it'll appeal to them.
that's fair enough. You explained very well. What I'm really want to know, and the people they are listening to us, uh, I will rephrase my question, that the level of teaching and the standard of teaching based on the moral character principle of Islamic school of thought, and you are you you are following the same pattern, and our Islamic uh, The school of thought and the people they are coming from different sectors and they are understanding Islam. That's why Islam is spreading very fastly in Europe and here in North America.
Correct. Well, this
Okay.
is what I was saying is that the
Yeah,
reason
I
is
will,
simply that
well,
it breaks these divisions.
okay. The second one is a clash of civilization. Okay, how successful you are to minimize this clash and understanding, and please also respond um, like you talk about Islamophobia.
Mhm.
How successful you are for making people understand. So this is the way, our divine way is a, this is the way to your peace and your internal satisfaction.
Ji. Let me just define what Islamophobia is first. You know, I've seen this develop since I was a child, right? I don't think this term even existed when I was in my teens. And in a very short time, there is this divide where the perception is that in the Western world that that there is this thing called Islam, there is this thing belief system, there is this ideological basis of these people who are on the other side of the ocean, right? Mainly, who have a certain way of living, who they have a certain inbuilt aggression in them. They have something that is against us. I would venture to say, in my perception, that this has a lot to do with race difference than with actual belief systems. I really don't see any difference in the faith slash belief setup of 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 Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. We have brought it to the point where we call our prophet Khatamun Nabiyyin, and we actually believe that his what he presented to us, what he brought to us through the Quran, Wahi, and his Sunnah is an amalgam or a nichor of the the traditions that were existent in that part of the world. So I think that perception of Islamophobia has a lot to do with race, that these are people who are others. They are different than us. And hence, I call it pure racism rather than anything against Islam. So they identify, people from that part of the world with our frame of reference as something different, and something that has led to a clash of civilizations. I think, as the world grows smaller, uh, distances are less, communication is more, everybody's more evident to each other, there's tremendous immigration. There is a clash of values. I don't think it's a clash of civilization. And I think it is also a turf war, that you are now coming into my territory, geographically, physically, economically, and spiritually and ideologically in some ways. So because you're different, I don't want these in my area, and it's vice versa. There is a tremendous Western phobia also. There is a the phobia of Jews and Christians on the other side in the Islamic world is also very evident. So it's not that Islamophobia is a product, or the phobia of the other is a product of Western civilization. It's not. It's on our side also. So we need to be cognizant of that we are equally at fault for differentiating between. I mean, I won't go into all the details of how we did it in the subcontinent, and we still continue to do so in our communities in Pakistan and in India.
Dr.
So,
Saab, Dr. Saab, here is another issue.
mhm.
Um, as I heard that you are trying to set up a new platform where the invitation is open for everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We celebrate our Ursus, we
On the
celebrate Diwali, and we celebrate
on the
Christmas.
on the contrary, there is a mullah mafia, and they occupied our madrasas, our mosques, and the place of worship,
Correct.
and they impose their own because they never read Quran with the exact translation.
Correct.
And I recite by heart, and I teach you how to do that. So basically, they don't know what exactly the meaning, what they are reciting every day in their life. So this is the problem. Then they impose their own uh, what they understand, their ideas. Even they openly they blame that other mosque people. Oh, you cannot come to, this is our area, and you are non-believer, non-Muslim. The Muslim, they are cursing each other and they blaming that you are not considered. Like
Well,
Shia,
they're killing each other, not only cursing, but they're actually killing each other.
but you you chose a new path, and in the United States of America. So I will ask you how successful you are. Are you a subject of a controversy, or you are a subject of attention, or your people they are in the middle? They're trying to know what are you up to.
Well, first of all, that's that's another great question you asked. Um, in my on a very belief and faith level, I am completely color and firqa blind, so to speak, right? And also, you know, the mullahs essentially push only one simple ideology. It works. It works to a very large extent. The problem is not durable. That ideology of hate and polarization and difference is not a durable ideology, right? Islam itself, I mean, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's message was actually against this very background that you see today, when people were divided, and they were the haves and have-nots, and people who were ruling, and people who held the keys to the Kaaba, right? That was the equivalent of the local mullah who says, I have ownership of your faith. And what I say is the right thing to do, and that polarizes people, and they push the ideology of hate. This is not now, this is nothing new. This has been going on in different parts of the world, in different belief systems and cultures for eons, right? And all the reformers, our prophets, the walis, the sole reason for their existence in these societies, and in different other Western societies too, is to nullify this, or to bring the opposite message and unify people. Every single ideology of hate, no matter how powerful it has failed. It has petered out. It has been defeated, and it doesn't live. So this is nothing new. When I was growing up, and I'm sure when you were growing up too in Pakistan, right? You didn't know I didn't know until I was in my teenagers, that there is this thing called a Shia or a Sunni. We were all one people. It took me a long time to differentiate. Oh, these people do something differently, hence they are different as people. This doesn't exist. So all you have to do is say, look, yeah, all right, so we're all Muslims. And sure, I actually like the whole color. I tell people I come from a Shia family, but I tell everybody, listen, I'm the first Sunni. I believe in the Sunnah of the Prophet, right? Because his Sunnat was Ali. His Sunnat was taking care of the Ahl Bayt. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. So I think these are good colors. I have great respect for scholars from the school of Deoband, although I belong to the Barelvi school of thought. But I'm willing to listen to them. I have tremendous respect for them as scholars. इसमें कोई झगड़े की बात नहीं है. भाई ये तो हम सब इसमें we are all together in this mess, and the more we talk, the more we discuss, the more we know about each other, the less this conflict. And yes, obviously, people draw red lines. I don't think there are any red lines between who we are. I think ours is a very, very simple system. It's based on only three things, right? One is the Vedat of God, the other is the Nubuwat of our Prophet and the finality of his Nubuwat, right? And the third is the legacy that the Prophet left us in terms of the Ahl Bayt, and then the Walis, and that's it. I don't think there's any more rocket science. Sure, you can add all kinds of things to it, but these are the I don't think there's any controversy in these. You may not like one aspect or the other,
Yeah.
but this is it. There is nothing else. There is no
Dr.
rocket
Saab,
science.
I'm trying to know what is in your mind. Uh, we are talking about discrimination. It's a very important subject.
Right, especially in
There is,
now here.
there is no. This is one of your subject. It's every Muslim. They believe on the faith Islam. There is no concept of caste and creed and color and everything. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam practically he presented a way to deal with kafars and non-believers. Whenever they used to come, and even we have a historical examples. A woman she used to throw um, dirt on
Correct.
him. Even there was a the level of forgiveness. The still we place examples. Let's come back to Pakistan, where the largest minority Christians. If you know our homes, uh, we place their eating pots on a away from our house or living place,
Toba,
and
Toba.
and they don't touch them.
Absolutely. I know what you're saying.
And in case, and all the sanitation department, the dirt most, so they are the responsible of cleaning and all these. So
They
I
are the
think,
untouchables of our society.
yeah. So this is the highest level of discrimination that never exists in the Islam.
Correct.
We are allowed to even marry and have a babies with them. They are Ahle Kitab, amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi. It's a very simple message. Now, the same communities, millions, now they are living in United States of America, Europe, and they have the same mindset. Do you think it's an ignorant, but the thing is not in Islam, and the even uh, it's never existed, and still we are ignorant about dealing these interfaith communities. So now, what is your what is in your mind in a psychological term, or how you can fix this mindset and to change into reality? Is there any teaching course or any sitting that you have some kind of program, and then you talk on that in a on a community level?
Sure. So let me just start with, this whole idea of, everybody, all communities, particularly in our South Asia setting, have some other, right? So there is a powerful majority like the Muslims in Pakistan who treat the powerless majority of Hindus and Christians in the manner that you just very aptly described. in our daily lives. It is very much a part of it, of our existence there. And yeah, there are some, people who will make a noise against it every now and then. But the burning of their homes, and the burning of their places of worship, and forced conversions, and all this thing goes on, and it is still going on. It happens every day. And all the politicians and the social scientists and the liberals and everybody else just keeps letting it happen. Yeah, some people make a noise, but it's really ineffective. But that, I think, the genesis of that is in the power differential. The powerful class will always be able to exercise their power over those who are in a minority, and and not in power. See, I dare all those Pakistanis who are treating Christians like that to treat the Christians here like that, right? You live यहाँ कोई चू नहीं कर पाता. आप
Yeah.
कहें ना क्रिश्चियंस को बुरा यहाँ पे.
No, they are still biased. Yesterday, Ramesh Kumar, he was denied. He was he they in the Pakistan parade, they did not
That's
allow him
correct.
to speech. So
Yes,
the
but you
simple
see,
reason is a Hindu
what I
minority.
say to them is, if this is really what you believe, and this is what your Islam says, that you treat Christians like that, well, why don't you treat the American Christians like that? Karo na
Yeah,
himmat itni. Unko bolo na.
yeah.
Why are you, exerting your power over those helpless people in Pakistan?
So
If
I'm
your
glad
belief
that
is so right,
you do
if your
have.
system is so right, then why don't you do it against the majority Christians here? Usme koi
Yeah.
उनको, then you put your tail between your legs and run away. You see.
That run away. But down the road, the people like you have a definite programs to uh, change people's mind.
देखें, the changing people's minds and unity, it happens on three levels.
Yeah.
First, it happens on a level of the ultimate unity is a spiritual unity, until and unless our faiths are united, right? But that doesn't happen automatically, and it's very difficult. But it happens on a very, it starts at a very superficial level. First of all, respect for each other, right? That yes, we recognize you as an entity. Yes, it's not, I hate this word tolerance. It should be an inclusiveness, right? So it is different but inclusive. We're all included in what we're doing. Secondly, sharing in other people's rituals, sharing in other people's cultures, sharing in each other's heritage, right? So to me, you know I have great respect for walis all over, right? To me, a great wali is Saint Francis of Assisi. He was a Christian wali. Right?
Also, we have a 8 minute. I would like to know about your organization, Olia Council of North America. Please tell us in detail what is the concept and what is the structure of this organization, and what is your future plan, uh, creating a peaceful community or interfaith harmony, or through this mysticism or Sufism, uh, you are looking for the right path where we can live our life peacefully and let other people live their life peacefully.
Let me just tell you a little story about Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia, the great wali from the from Delhi. So one day, he's in his khanka and he's praying, and Sarkar Amir Khusro, his student and his murid, he's there too, and he suddenly hears outside the the Hindus are playing Holi, right? They're making a lot of noise, and they're making merry, and they're throwing color on each other, and they're singing and they're dancing. So Amir Khusro got very upset, and he said, my peer is inside, he's praying, and why are you making all this noise? So he goes and yells at the Hindus, and he comes back in, And Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia says to him, "Bhai, what's the problem? Why are you so angry?" So he said, while you're praying, these people are making a noise and disturbing your peace. And he said, "You know what? Why are they doing this?" He says, "Well, they're very happy. There is a festival of Holi, and they're all very happy and they're making merry." You know what Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia said? He says, "So why are you getting angry at them? If they're happy, if they're celebrating something, why don't we go and join them? Open the doors of the Khanka, tell them to come and do their celebration and conduct their festival here."
So let's come back to your
See,
organization.
so I know I start from that. One is, I created this named after the Olias of the entire subcontinent, and to me, whoever the walis are, to me, Buddha is also a wali. And belonging to the Chishti silsila, where there's a lot of color and tradition, particularly of Qawwali. My thought is that this is a great platform to unite everybody, to break these barriers of sectarianism. There's no Sunni, there is no Shia here, and we celebrate everybody's festivals, we celebrate everybody's rituals. And as I was saying, so the way to break this, to reach that spiritual unity, is to participate in everybody's rituals and festivals, and hold them as dear to us as our own. And that leads to interfaith harmony. And to me, I actually start with intra-faith harmony. पहले अपने झगड़े जो हैं हम उनको तय कर लें, और उनको जो है ना अपने अपने दिलों से निकाल दें. Unless it is in our hearts, we are not going to go very far. And so we have,
This
there
is
are different ways.
this coming event I posted on the screen. This is all about what you are talking about.
Yes, so this is the Muharram has just ended. So the ladies who are affiliated with our organization, so they're having a majlis, to celebrate to commemorate Imam Hussein's martyrdom, which is a flag for everybody. So things like this. Then we also have community affairs. We celebrate different things. Eid Milad al-Nabi. We celebrate at least 5 urs. The urs of Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia, Khwaja Garib Nawaz, Baba Farid Chakarganj,
Dr.
and so
Saab, you
on.
have 1 minute. What do you want to say to the community?
So
What
what I want to
is
say is, come and join us so that we can all be together. We come from the same place. We come from the same faith, and this is a good forum for all of us to get together and share in each other's richness, rather than blame everybody for being who they are.
um, folks? Thank you very much. We talk about Sufism and the way they practice Islam and they spread Islam with this exact principle. Thousands, millions of people they come to understand, and they are Muslim. The entire subcontinent, the majority, they are Muslim. This is all due to the true message of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the message of faith. So the one of the doctor, uh, he is determined to uh, introduce the same principles, same culture of Islam, and he designed his project to introduce uh, a, a kind of platform where different people from different school of thought they can come and join, and they can practice, and they look for uh, the path of peace and eternity and spiritualism, mysticism. I think the love of God and the praise of God and the praise to the Holy Muhammad, Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, like a qawwalis, a rhythm. And there, if you regularly you come to that society and you come to that group and practice, and I believe you will find a divine faith. Then once you are in, then definitely you will understand that Islam has no place of any caste, creed, color, and any
Absolutely.
discrimination. And once you are in, then you will respect your faith, you will respect your family, and you will pay respect to your deen and others'
And respect your fellow human being, no matter who they are.
faith. And secondly, forgiveness and a brotherhood and the respect of the society. And these are the main principle and virtues of Islam. Dr. Saab, thank you very much for coming to the show. And we will invite you uh, again, and we will talk about building communities. And in this capital economy, where the people they talk about profit and loss, and you are the one you are talking about peace of mind and talking about togetherness, and from psychological point of view, uh, we will also like to know from you the complexes in human mind, like in a historical term, like a lot of complexes. They became very famous, like Electra complex, Oedipus complex. But one thing is the divine otherness, and we will talk on that. God, He doesn't like anybody when you remember Him that you think about anybody else. Dr. Saab, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for
And
having me.
we will
Inshallah,
speak
we'll get together again.
next week with another topic. Pakistan Zindabad.
Pakistan Zindabad. Khuda Hafiz.
Ji Khuda.